Since mankind has been able to see, we have always dreamed of living a life of boundless opportunities. We pray to a higher power. We look up and we feel this natural compulsion to be up there and not here on earth, held down by this imaginary force field that does nothing but keep us stuck here. We see the stars as distant friends and not as these hazardous areas to avoid at all cost. Why is this? Because I feel that this is because it is our natural progression. Imagine you are about to blast off for the first time. These fears running through your head, I imagine, are not of what's out there or how your life is about to change. It is of if you can actually make it off this planet. And I believe for the sake of humankind, we have to. Now, there are some people, like reporter Phil Torres, who feels like this space colonization will do nothing but alienate us, will keep us apart and cause wars. I feel that space colonization will create an environment where people are able to interact and depend on each other more freely and openly. If one colony succeeds, then everyone succeeds because everyone will be able to get the materials that they need. When we run off to greener pastures, we will have more of a workforce available through the creation of jobs that are currently not very popular due to not really much demand. But who wants to be an astronomer or an astronaut? I'm sure you are thinking, yeah, maybe, but how much does one pay and how likely am I to be the other one? Well, if space exploration happens and we are able to colonize, we will need people to map the stars and people to navigate us where we need to go. Also, what other jobs will be created by space colonization? Well, we will need people who are knowledgeable in the area of botany, of animal husbandry, and of working the land in general and keeping it healthy. We need working colonies that does nothing but produces. We have no room in space for colonies that just consume. This will be imagining old careers in a new realm that has infinite possibilities. Imagine a spaceship and then imagine your colony. What if a piece of debris was flying at your colony? What would you do? Would you shoot it and create a bunch of smaller debris hurtling towards your colony? Or would you play pool with it and knock it with another big piece of debris in hopes to ricochet it off into space? Well, if this idea makes your head hurt a little bit and makes you almost have a panic attack, you're like me. You would rather leave it to someone who is excited about it and who has a million ideas on how to solve this problem, such as architects and engineers, which we will need in space to protect us. Now think about the colony again. What does it look like? Is it resembling the house you left on Earth? If you're like me, it's probably sparkly with a bunch of farmland and a bunch of moderately sized houses. But the working figure of a space station is more of a spherical shape. It was developed by NASA and it rotates, which mimics the Earth's natural gravity. It also reflects radiation, which Bill Keeter points out is a huge problem of living in space. It utilizes solar power, which Bill Keeter also says that satellites could utilize solar power. So there will be no need for power stations as we know them today to exist in space, which only leads to a greener colony. We will have a lot less waste because in space, we cannot afford to use fossil fuels. There is not enough oxygen for it. We need our atmosphere to be clean and green. Also, you would have to reuse everything, but it would not be on you personally to make that decision. The space station will be programmed and prepared to make reusing as easy as possible because we would be so dependent on it. You would be able to eat a piece of fruit from the tree without having to worry about pesticides or anything else like in the atmosphere getting into it. You wouldn't have to worry about acid rain or any type of contamination. But there's no water in space. It never rains. Well, we can mine materials like water, ice, which is found on asteroids or in the moon or multiple places. We can mine that, and we can even send materials back to the people who choose to stay on Earth. So it's not mandatory to live in space. With the future of humanity at stake, we cannot afford to sit idly by and worry about finding aliens in space. We need the space. It is known that human beings will outgrow our Earth, so we need a new one. Thank you.